What's up, everybody? Welcome back to My Twisted Life of Poetry. I am Poetry. You are here for the first installment of 2019's Black Cinema TV. I've done movie reviews before, but this is the first time that I am specifically calling it Black Cinema Sunday because I only review black movies in full content. Any other movie that I watch, you may get them in a travel and talk or something like that, but we're going to pay special attention to black movies, and we're going to start this year off with If Beale Street Could Talk. This is an on-screen adaptation of James Baldwin's novel, If Beale Street Could Talk, by the same name. I have to say, as an avid reader, I have never read a James Baldwin book. Everything that I know of James Baldwin comes from his speeches that I've seen him speeches that I've seen when he speaks on different race-related issues, the black family, politics. That's what I knew of James Baldwin, although I knew he was an author, but I had never read any of his books. I don't know why, because I think my mama owned like everything, but she went to the movie with me, and she said she had never read the book either, so she's going to have to read the book now. We were talking in my live the other day about the fact that I normally do not like to watch movies and read the book. I'm either going to do one or the other, but for some reason I am compelled to now read this book. I was just in Tested with Ty's live stream, and she was talking about the Groveland Four, and I believe it was a rape incident happening in there, and this story, If Beale Street Could Talk, speaks on that as well. So when the movie started off, it started off with a quote from James Baldwin, how James Baldwin says, Beale Street is a street in New Orleans. And I was like, New Orleans? Beale Street is in Memphis. That was my first thought. Okay, but then the next line says that Beale Street is actually any street in an American city where black people grew up and thrived. So Beale Street could be anywhere. So this particular movie was set in Brooklyn. I, again, don't know what happened in the book. Please don't tell me either what happened specifically in the book. You can just like do some comparisons. So if it didn't happen in Brooklyn in the book, you could tell me that. So it's set in Brooklyn in the book, in the movie, and it starts off going back and forth from present day to recent past, and it tells the story of Alonzo, who we call Fonnie, and Tish, and their love story, and how their love generated from being little peewees in the bathtub taking baths together. One thing I wanted to make note of that I paid very close attention to, or that it came to my attention, and maybe because of all this situation going on right now with the serial rapist situation with R. Kelly and this, that, and the third, is that when they put these two kids in the bathtub together, this little boy and this little girl in the bathtub together, they were playing, they had them in t-shirts and stuff like that. Now, you know, growing up as a kid, if you took baths with your little cousins and everything like that, y'all was naked. Y'all was naked in the water, flailing and everything. And it was no thing. It was no issue. But with today's sensitivity and everything that's going on today, I do respect that they took the sensitivity into consideration, and they put clothing on these children as they bathed together and frolicked in the bathtub together. So Tish and Alonzo, Tish and Fonzie, because again, Fonnie, we have to call him Fonnie, because as she told the lawyer that was representing him, that if you're going to do this, if you're going to ride with us, then he has to be called Fonnie. Because when you call him Alonzo, then that's all she sees is the lies and the corruption, the judges and the police officer. That's all she, and the injustice that's been done against him. That's all she sees. So you got to call him Fonnie to be part of the family. Okay. So Tish and Fonnie, they started this journey off almost around when they first realized that they were in love with each other. They grew up with each other, in each other's lives, all each other's lives. And now that they are adults, he's 22, she's 19, they realize that they have more than just a love for each other. They are in love with each other. And they are now about to take their friendship to a whole new level, right? So Fonnie is like, you ready for this? You know, he more ready for this than ever. And she ready for this too. So as the story goes on, we learn, she said she hate for anybody to have to sit down and talk to their loved one through glass. So they are incorporating the prison system into this storyline. This story, it's a love story. It's a story about love. It's a story about hope. With everything that happened with that McDonald's fight situation and how mad and angry I was at black men, this movie helped me see again why I love black men. The black men in this movie, no matter if they were struggling, they were doing what they had to do to make sure that their families stood on their own. Now, there was one moment in the movie that kind of pissed me off. My mama was cool with it, but I wasn't. We'll talk about that in a minute. So if you're unaware of this movie, this recap is going to have spoilers. Because it may not be a full recap, maybe a review, but it's going to have spoilers. So, Tish sitting down at the jail. Fonnie been in jail for a couple months now. And she tells him, we about to have a baby. He didn't know what the fuck to do at first. And she was like, baby, I'm happy about this. I am happy about this. He was like, you happy, I'm happy, we happy. We about to have a baby. And we gonna get you out of jail. We finna get you out of jail soon. So the whole struggle to this movie was getting Fonnie out of jail. And I'm like, what the hell was Fonnie accused of? That's what I wanted to know. What was he accused of? But right now, what we need to do is worry about telling my mama and my daddy and your mama and your daddy, you know. So she goes home, and Regina King is playing her mother. I told you I love Regina King, and I wanted to see this movie strictly on the fact that she was in it. I knew nothing about what this movie was going to be about. Regina King is playing her mother, and the way that this family handled the news of her being pregnant was so precious in thine eyes. Like, I felt tugged. My heart felt tugged. I felt loved. I kept saying, this is how you handle when your child comes home and tell you that she's pregnant and you don't see that there's anything else to do. There's no, what else can you say? We are about to cheer this new life coming into the world. And the mother and the daddy was like, wait a minute, what say? But the mama sitting there like, not today. We're not going to put our feelings over our child right now. We have a new life coming into the world. The life itself is something to celebrate. That child had nothing to do with how it got here. This is what we're celebrating, the birth of this child. So we as a family are going to surround her with love. And we're going to throw that love to her in the form of support in every way that we know how. I love that, okay? So, the mama decided, you know what, we need to tell his family. Let's go and invite Fonnie family over, right? Well, Fonnie family was a whole different kind of black. A little uppity, so to speak. Everybody's still on a struggle, so to speak. They not like good times struggling, but they making do. They making do. But they family. Well, Fonnie's family, which is the one element that I was really missing from the show. I saw how the mother was and how the daughters were, and I didn't understand how Fonnie fit into that family. He seemed so removed from how that family was. Somebody knocking on my damn door? He seemed so far removed from how his upbringing seemed to have been. Like I said, his sisters and his mamas, they some uppity Negroes is what I would like to call them. And Tish and her family was the kind of more laid back, you know, cool. Everybody finna take a little sip. We gonna, you know, put out a little liquor, you know, whatever. It was that type of family. But the families had known each other for years. Okay, the father seemed to be, Frank, he seemed to be one of the one family member that was still kind of down to earth like Tish's family was, you know. Sure, we done made a little money, we done came up a little bit, but I ain't forgot where I came from. Tish, Fonnie's mama was like say highfalutin, high sedity, And she was such a holy roller in the word, in what I want to say. She was one of the people that made me want to stop going to church. You know what I'm saying? She looked at scripture as her law, instead of the love of the true love of God as her law, if you understand what I'm saying. And she used that. She would Bible thump you with words to tell you how much you ain't shit. Okay, so when she heard that Tish was pregnant, oh, how you demon seed you are. I knew you were going to be the one that convert my son and send him down to the pearls of hell. I knew it was going to be you. Like, I was like, did this bitch really just say that? Did this bitch really just say that? I mean, she was going on and on and on. But prior to this, you could sense the tension between her and her husband, Frank, right? Because Frank cussed a lot. You know, Frank cussed. Hell, Tish family cussed. They cussed. So Frank felt like he was at home when he was around him. And when he said something like, use the word shit, I think it was. And the mama was like, Fonny's mama was like, you're talking to a lady. Like, you don't curse at women. Basically what she's saying. And I felt her. I understand it. He said, I know I'm talking to a woman. I'm finally glad that I can. I was like, whoop. Shade. It was only 6 of us in the theater, and everybody at the same time said, ooh, did he say that? Shade. Yeah, shade, honey, shade. But at the point where she was getting all up in Tish's face, telling her how much of a demon spawn she was, Frank jumped up and slapped fire from her ass, knocked her clean on the floor, knocked her the fuck out. Ooh, I clutched my imaginary pearls, and my mama sat there and said she deserved it. And I'm thinking, no, the fuck she didn't. Or maybe she did, but not from Frank. Tish mama should have probably knocked her the fuck out. But that man standing up and hauling off and knocking that woman to the floor like that, I was not here for it. Not at all. Not at all. But my mama is from that era. She's from that day and age. And she felt that it was okay for him to do that, to knock her to the floor. She had a lot of mouth. She was popping off at the mouth. She was spewing, you know, atrocities towards Tish. It did not warrant that man standing up and slapping the cowboy shit out of her. I mean, how Ho Silver away, the Long John Silver ran out of her goddamn mouth, how hard he hit her. I was like, oh, what the fuck? No, that's not right. She didn't deserve that. No, she didn't. If Tish mama would have knocked her the fuck out, yes, I could have said that. You ain't been talking about my goddamn child like that. I would show you. Now, when it all happened, both families balked up. Now, mama's still down on the floor, tripping, right. And Tish's mama was like, hey, you need to get Frank out of here. Told her husband, Joe, get him out of here. This ain't the place for y'all right now, right? Let the women do their thing. So the men left. I love that. The men left. And, you know, Regina King character, damn, I can't remember her name. Tish's mom. She was like, you know what? She checked her. And she put her in her place. And she told her the same thing I just said. This is your grandchild coming into this world. Regardless of how it got here, this is your grandchild. You're supposed to love that child. You know what I'm saying? But Tish was ready to buck on her. She was like, you know, you was wrong for speaking to me that way. You know, her daughters try to step up. Baby, when her daughters try to step, her sister Ernestine was a real motherfucking G. Ernestine stepped up to that sister and said, you know what? Ever since I met you, the one thing I've noticed is your Adam's apple. And every time I look at your Adam's apple, I just wonder if I should pluck it out of your throat with my tooth finger or I should bite it. But if you step to my sister and put a hand on her right now, you're going to make me decide that real quick. Go ahead. Step to her. I was like, ooh, get it, Ernestine. Get her. Because they was popping off real loud and crazy at the mouth of Tish, you know what I'm saying? But they was doing it, though, in defense of their mother. So I ain't too mad at them about that. They was doing it in defense of their mother. But the dynamics of how these families, no matter if they were in disagreements with each other, they stood together, with the exception of the dad. You know what I'm saying? They stood together, though. Them sisters stood strong with their mama on both sides of the fence. You know what I'm saying? Well, all in all, Fonny was locked up, we found out, for a rape that he had nothing to do with. And so then we get this layer of the story. We go back and forth with the layer of the story. One of the one of struggle and of race, and how white people looked at us and condemned us. They wouldn't even rent to us. They wouldn't even let us have safe housing, no matter how much money we brought to the table. The struggle of them trying to find a home together and make a way, you know. We saw, gosh, I can't think of his real name right now. I'm so sorry. If y'all know his real name, put it down in the comment section. The young man that plays Paperboy on Atlanta. He was the friend that had just got out of the slammer, and he talked about his time there, how he had been there 2 years, and he got pulled over for a car theft that he had nothing to do with, but he had some marijuana on him. So it was easy for him to take the car theft charge and take the drug charge. And he did 2 years in jail. And he was like, in jail, he realized what Malcolm X was saying, that how white people must be devils. They can't be human because of the way they treat us. Just he's the things that he's seen. He's certain that he has met the devil, because no human could treat any other human in such a way. And we talked about how you never wanted to go to jail, how they can catch you up and lock you up into the system. And this, at this moment, was not funny, but Tish was in the kitchen listening. And later on in the story, this became Fonny's story as well. He got locked up on a rape charge that he had nothing to do with. And how it all unfolded, and how it all unraveled, and how it wrapped around his neck and hung him like a noose, all was due to a crooked ass white cop with a complex. You know what I'm saying? It made me again think about why I have such dislike in a building hatred for police officers at times. Not all, but not all the time, but at times. It makes me question why anybody black would want to be a police officer. Because of those type of antics. Man, you have to see this movie. This is a great movie to watch. But like I say, in the midst of all this turmoil, in the lies and the injustice and the false incarceration and the battle between families, there was this love that was still centered there between Tish and Fonzie and Fonny. That love was just there, and it swirled and it built and it built. And there were so many different things happening in this movie. You went from the false incarceration, the injustice, the meeting the nice white Jewish man that's all he wanted to, about how the reason why he's not racist, the reason why he can be nice to black people, because his mama taught him better. And that's all it needed. That's all you needed to have was parents who was willing to be better people themselves that make you a better child. So they talked about that dynamic. They talked about the one lawyer who wasn't that interested in the case, like, you know, like most lawyers do. He was doing this as a favor for a friend, you know, Ernestine, Tish's sister. And then he got so caught up in the case. These are like the white allies in the protest. They get so caught up in it. And when people start treating them like the black people that they are helping, then they start to feel some kind of way. They start to get angry, upset, and even scared at times, because now they don't know what the fuck is finna happen to them. And he is getting thrown curveballs left and right in the justice system, because one, he's trying to help this black guy get out. The fucking witness was gone. The accuser was gone. They got her out of the damn system. But because there was this one crooked ass white cop, they were standing on his motherfucking word as if it was bond. And you have to watch the movie to see how this fucking cop plays in. That's the one thing I'm not going to spoil. You have to watch the movie to see how this motherfucker plays in. But there were so many different things going on in this movie, all the way down to Tish being a single mother, raising her child, and like her father had to sit there and tell her, don't think that I believe that you some bad kid because you got pregnant at 19. Don't think that. Don't think that you did anything wrong. That's not what I want you to feel. And Tish was like, it's not like, you know, he left me, you know, it's not like that. He is in jail on charges that he had shit to do with, that had nothing to do with him. And there was a point in the movie where when she went to go visit Fonny in jail, he was all battered and abused. And I thought that young man was about to kill himself. I was like, ugh, somebody told me that the movie was sad, and I was like, fuck, he finna kill himself. This is the sad part. This is the sad part. Next we see, though, him and his son at the jail. His son is about 5 years old now, maybe this time, and he's still in jail. And we have to talk about how most black men get caught up in the system and for crimes that they had nothing to do with, but because they get fucked around by the system, because the judge want to take a holiday or whatever god doggone reason, because there's a government fucking shutdown, anything can happen. They can keep him in that system. His court date kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, that he was so tired and so burnt out and so tired of fighting within the jail system and fighting against the justice system, that he finally just gave in and took a plea, because he was looking at death. So he took a plea, and we didn't know how long that his sentence was supposed to be. They never told it. Just led you to believe the way that it all played out, that he was gonna never get out of jail. He wasn't getting out, but at least he was alive. He was gonna be alive and still see his son, and still have his son come visit him every week in jail, or however long Tish came to bring the son there. And Tish's life pretty much stopped at that moment. You know, everything that she knew was funny. Everything that she had was funny, and he felt that same way about her. And it reminded me a little bit about my daughter's father. I think I've told you guys this before. He was another person that got locked up. He was doing his job. He was on the newspaper out throwing his newspapers. Police swooped down on him and said that somebody in the neighborhood house had got robbed. And they believed he was the one that got robbed. So they tossed his car, threw all his newspapers all over the fucking street and everything, right? And, you know, you would get upset if some shit happened like that. Because he had previous run-ins in with the law. They could lock you up and hold you for any reason. Keena Daddy was in jail for almost a year and a half without ever going to court to be booked. He was just being held. And after so long being in that system for a year and a half, there were people, he said, had been there for 6, 7 years. Just in jail, waiting to be booked. Waiting for their first hearing. Getting tossed around in the system, pushed back because the prosecutors or the DA's office got caseloads this damn high and they ain't got to your name yet. And they can't find a witness here, or the damn police officer took off here, or the judge want to take a vacation here, or whatever the fucking reason. So you getting pushed back in the paperwork. Like when I went to jail, I told y'all, they lost me in the system. They misspelled my name wrong, so they couldn't find my black ass. A lot of shit like this happens, and he's so caught up in the system that he gets tired. He gets tired. You saw when the fight left his face. You saw when the fight left him. And, yeah, he took that plea. He took that plea. And then Keena's daddy did the same thing, ended up taking the plea. And did time for some shit that he didn't even commit. And I know jail is supposed to rehabilitate you, what have you, and this, that, and the third, but sometimes it does more damage to a soul, to a being, than rehabilitation, if you know what I'm saying. So, I don't even know if I gave y'all a good review on this movie and what have you, but this is If Beale Street Could Talk. Again, I'm not sure if it's in every theater yet. When I first looked for it, it was only 2 theaters here in Orlando. And this week, it opened up to a lot more theaters. So, if you have a chance to go see If Beale Street Could Talk, go see this movie. Like I said, it is a love story wrapped around a love story that's surrounded by turmoil and injustice and family bonds, and it's so many different layers to this story. You just want to peel it until you get to the center and just see the love that's inside that was there. This was a good movie. This is a good movie. Thumbs up all the way. Thumbs up. I'm gonna go see it again. I'm going to see it again. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a great day. This is My Twisted Life of Poetry. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thank y'all for sitting here for Black Cinema Sunday. Peace. Next week, it's going to be Mudbound. I'm going to finally watch that movie. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.